It's been a long time since we last talked about the predators, but with the upcoming release of the new movie, now is the perfect moment to return to these hunters. Today we're going to evaluate which of all the known Yautja can truly be considered the most lethal. And who knows? Maybe this video will give you an idea of just how dangerous the new predator arriving in theaters might be. But before we dive into the ranking, we need to lay down some ground rules and make a few initial eliminations. For this analysis, we're only going to consider Yautja who have earned their achievements through their own merit. That means we're excluding any predators that have been genetically modified or mutated by external forces. So the ultimate predator from the 2018 film is out, as well as the mutated predator infected by the black goo pathogen in the Alien vs. Predator Fire and Stone comics. Second, in order to rank them fairly and accurately, we'll be looking at a few key factors: their age, their rank within the Yautja hierarchy, the quality and difficulty of the prey they've hunted, and of course the trophies they've collected over the course of their lives. It's also important to understand who the Yautja are. Also known as predators, they are an alien species that don't hunt for food or survival. They hunt for honor. Hunting is the central pillar of their culture, their religion, and their social order. The Yautja come from a harsh world known as Yautja Prime, and from a young age they are trained to become worthy hunters. To rise within their society, they must face and overcome the deadliest creatures in the universe. In fact, their most important rite of passage is to hunt and kill a xenomorph, considered their most prized prey. Succeeding without dying grants them the title of blooded, or recognized hunter, which allows them to hunt unsupervised and begin ascending through the ranks, from elite to clan leader, and eventually to the highest honor possible, which is the clan elder. But not all predators are the same, and not every kill is considered valid. Yautjas follow a strict code of honor that dictates what type of hunt is acceptable and what actions are considered disgraceful. Killing weak, unarmed, sick, pregnant, or otherwise defenseless prey is heavily frowned upon and can even turn a Yautja into an outcast. They only hunt what they deem worthy: strong, dangerous beings, capable of fighting back and possibly killing them. That's why, when facing honorable prey, Yautjas often level the playing field. They'll set aside long-range weapons, remove their masks, and engage in hand-to-hand combat without any technological advantage. The more difficult the hunt and the fewer tech-based resources they use to complete it, the greater the honor and prestige they earn. And if they fail, there are no second chances. A Yautja who is defeated or fails their mission must activate their self-destruct device. This not only erases any trace of their existence, but ensures their failure doesn't tarnish the name of their clan. In their culture, being defeated is the same as dying without honor, and that's something they simply can't allow. So with all that established, it's time to find out which Yautja are the deadliest in the entire franchise. Number 7. In the 7th place, we have Berserker, also known as Mr. Black, the leader of the Super Predator clan, and one of the most lethal beings the Yautja species has ever produced. Unlike other predators who rise through decades of experience, Berserker was born an anomaly, a natural prodigy. He became the youngest predator ever to kill a xenomorph and quickly ascended to blooded status, eventually leaving his original clan to form one of his own. Many people mistakenly believe that Berserker was genetically modified, but he wasn't. He was not altered or artificially enhanced in any way. What makes him so terrifying is that he is naturally this powerful. He belongs to a different evolutionary subspecies of Yautja. Taller, stronger, with sharper senses, more ferocious mandibles, and a tactical intelligence that more than compensates for his lack of honor. During the events of Predators from 2010, Berserker led a hunt on the game preserve planet where, alongside his brothers Falconer and Tracker, he captured human prey purely to toy with them. Among his confirmed victims were elite soldiers, trained assassins, hardened criminals, and even another Yautja, the crucified predator, an honorable warrior of the classic lineage, whom Berserker decapitated without hesitation after a brutal fight. But what truly secures Berserker's place on this list is the combination of his feats and his complete dominance on the battlefield. He wielded advanced tech like a Gatling-style plasma caster and pulse sensors that could track prey even through fire. He employed psychological tactics, using recordings of dying humans to manipulate his targets emotionally. He mastered close-quarters combat, stealth, technological warfare, and psychological terror. It was Royce, a human, who ultimately defeated him, but not alone. Royce had to prepare traps, use guerrilla tactics, and most importantly, rely on Isabel, who distracted Berserker with a shot to the chest just to give Royce a fighting chance. In that moment, Royce attacked with a makeshift axe, destroyed his mask, severed one of his arms, and finally beheaded him. Why is Berserker ranked 7th? Because even though he died, he did so after controlling the entire game. He led an interplanetary hunt, eliminated one of his own kind, and pushed a team of Earth's most dangerous humans to the brink. His trophy collection included human spines, xenomorphs, and other alien creatures. His ego and disregard for the Yautja Code of Honor distanced him from tradition, but no one can deny he was one of the most dangerous hunters ever seen. Number 6. In 6th place, we have Warrior, the gladiator of the Lost Tribe. This individual may not have an entire film dedicated to his story, but within the expanded lore, he's a living legend. Warrior holds the rank of elite, and not just anyone reaches that level within the Yautja hierarchy. He was chosen as the right hand of Greyback, the elder leader of the clan, and that alone speaks volumes. But what truly sets him apart is his title of Champion of the Blood Ring, a brutal hand-to-hand combat arena on Yautja Prime, where only the best warriors are allowed to enter, and even fewer manage to leave alive. In the Blood Ring, he faced the most lethal opponents on the planet. Other Yautja, wild beasts, and even xenomorphs. In the most impressive part, he didn't use any technological weapons. No plasma casters, no camouflage. Nothing but strength, speed, reflexes, and raw physical skill. Warrior didn't just survive that battlefield, he dominated it, returning voluntarily time and again to defend his title as undefeated champion. His entire focus is built around close-quarters combat, and for that, he is held in the highest regard. It's implied that he has killed multiple xenomorphs, and very likely even queens, in direct, unassisted confrontations. In Yautja culture, that level of achievement borders on legendary. His trophies aren't just skulls, they are titles, reputation, respect, and a legacy forged with his own hands. The only reason he isn't ranked higher on this list is due to the lack of information about his off-world or solo hunts. We don't have direct evidence of missions like those carried out by Wolf or Scarface, who fought hordes of xenomorphs or hybrids without support. Warrior's glory lies in the arena, on his home planet. And while that's more than enough to consider him among the deadliest, it doesn't quite place him at the very top. Still, if we were ranking based solely on pure melee combat, Warrior might just be the most dangerous of them all. Number 5. In 5th place, we have Wolf, the infamous cleaner of the Yautja race. This isn't a ceremonial title, but a very specific function within their society. When a hunt goes wrong and threatens the secrecy or survival of their kind, they send someone like him, an experienced, relentless predator with a single mission: erase all evidence, no matter how many bodies are left behind. Wolf responded to a distress signal coming from Earth. In 2004, a Yautja scout ship crashed in Gunnison, Colorado, unleashing a xenomorph infestation, and something even worse, a Predalien. Without waiting for reinforcements or help from his clan, Wolf arrived alone, cleaned the crash site, and began his hunt. From the start, he made it clear that he wasn't there to collect trophies or fight honorably. He was there to end everything. That included both xenomorphs and any humans who got in the way. Using a brutal array of weapons, from whips and shurikens to a plasma pistol crafted from parts of his own damaged shoulder cannons, Wolf hunted without rest. He wiped out dozens of xenomorphs, battled through sewers, schools, and hospitals, and eventually faced the Predalien in hand-to-hand combat. Though physically outmatched, he managed to wound it severely and push the creature to its limits in a brutal final rooftop battle. However, both were mortally wounded and ultimately killed by a tactical nuclear bomb dropped by the US military. Wolf is the perfect example of tactical efficiency and raw brutality. His scarred face, burned by corrosive xenomorph blood, and his missing mandible stand as living proof of countless battles. His reputation is backed by a room filled with various bio-helmets, weapons, and trophies left behind on Yautja Prime. He was the first predator ever shown on screen to fight a Predalien, and although he didn't survive, he did it all alone, and against the clock. Why isn't he ranked higher on this list? Because despite his impressive performance, Wolf broke the Yautja honor code multiple times by killing unarmed civilians. He didn't collect trophies, showed no interest in honorable combat, and his mission was one of containment, not sport hunting. Also, while he did stop the outbreak, he didn't defeat the Predalien in a decisive victory, ending instead in a draw. Still, when his race needed someone to do the dirty work, Wolf was there. He may not have been the most honorable, but he was absolutely one of the deadliest. Number 4. At number 4, we have Scarface, also known as the New Way Devil, a true living legend among the Yautja. His story is unlike that of any other predator. It's not just about strength or hunting, but about redemption. And to achieve it, he had to face not only his enemies, but also his own past. It all began in 1930, when he arrived on Earth to hunt in New City. His target was Bruno Borgia, the most powerful mob boss in the city. The hunt was bloody but effective. Scarface decapitated the so-called god of gangsters in front of his wife and newborn son. But in that act, he made a fatal mistake. He removed his bio-helmet to look the woman in the eyes. She took advantage of the moment and shot him in the face, leaving him with a scar that would never truly heal, physically or morally. Wounded, exposed, and hunted, Scarface fled, leaving behind Yautja technology, which eventually fell into human hands. This unforgivable failure earned him exile. His clan cast him out to a hostile planet, armed with nothing but his claws and spear, where he would be forced to survive for 100 years. And survive he did. A century later, his clan offered him a chance at redemption, returned to Earth, now renamed Neonopolis, where the Borgia family, descendants of the ones who caused his fall, had turned his lost technology into industrial weapons, sparking an urban war powered by stolen alien tech. What followed was a massacre. Scarface hunted without mercy. He eliminated street gangs, international mafia networks, military cyborgs, and even 3 Yautja enhanced with cybernetic implants, granting them honorable deaths. He reclaimed his gear piece by piece, rescued captured clan brothers, and destroyed the AI ruling the city, which turned out to be Isabella Borgia, kept alive for a century by Yautja blood. But the most shocking event came with his final confrontation against Hunter Borgia, the grandson of the original mobster, now transformed into a Yautja human hybrid through genetic engineering. Scarface defeated him atop a giant statue of his grandfather, and before leaving the city, painted his clan's symbol on the monument's face, using Hunter's blood, a symbol of his return and the final seal of his redemption. Why is he ranked number 4? Because his legend wasn't built easily, and being in this position is no dishonor. He survived 100 years on a savage world, returned to the most dangerous city on Earth, and tore apart everything that once caused his downfall. He didn't just kill humans and xenomorphs, he also killed corrupted Yautjas, faced hybrids, and carved a path through a city swarming with enemies, enhanced by his own lost tech. His list of trophies is as vast as it is varied, ranging from human, alien, and cyborg skulls to those of traitorous Yautja. And he did it all without the direct support of his clan, until the very end. Number 3. At number 3, we have Prince, the protagonist of the video game Aliens vs. Predator 2, and possibly one of the deadliest Yautja to have ever hunted alone. He doesn't bear that name by coincidence. While his official rank is elite, the actions he carries out during his campaign on the planet LV-1201 place him in a tier close to that of the Elders. His composure, his arsenal, and above all, the brutal list of enemies he eliminated make him one of the greatest figures in the expanded universe. Prince's story begins with a background of honor and rivalry. Years before the events of the game, he had already wounded a colonial marine named Vasily Rykov on another planet. But his true trial came on LV-1201, when a distress signal sent by an ancient Yautja lured his clan to a world teeming with xenomorphs, hybrids, and heavily armed humans using advanced technology. What started as a hunt soon turned into a war for survival. Prince was captured in an ambush involving EMP bombs and lost his biomask, left at the mercy of the humans. But not for long. Through a series of extremely difficult encounters, he escaped, recovered his gear, and carved his way through human facilities, alien hives, and active war zones. Along the way, he killed 3 Praetorians, 2 Predelians, and even an alien queen in direct combat, and he did all of it completely alone. But the most symbolic moment comes at the end when he faces Rykov, now a seasoned general using an exosuit for battle. Prince defeats him, rips out his spine as a trophy, and recovers his biomask, thus restoring his honor. When he returns to his ship, his clan brothers kneel before him. It's a subtle detail, but one loaded with meaning. As no Yautja kneels unless it's before a superior, Prince faced the widest variety of apex prey ever seen. Enhanced humans, multiple forms of xenomorphs, and even Predelian hybrids. And he did it all without backup, without oversight, and without failing. He was captured, humiliated, and yet he returned, killed every enemy, and walked away with the trophies that proved his triumph. His story is a perfect representation of what it truly means to be a Yautja at their absolute peak. Why isn't he higher on this list? Because despite his brutal efficiency and accomplishments, his story comes from a video game that isn't canon. Even so, he ranks number 3, not just because of what he did, but because his combat performance surpasses that of many officially recognized Yautja. What he achieved on LV-1201 is impossible to ignore, and he did it while reclaiming his honor after being captured. His enemies were varied, intelligent, and lethal, and he overcame them all without ever abandoning the Yautja code. Canon or not, no one can deny that Prince represents everything a predator aspires to be: honorable, deadly, and unbreakable. Number 2. At number 2, we have Guardian, also known as Gort, one of the Yautjas who appears briefly at the end of Predator 2, but whose story is significantly expanded through NECA's material and extended lore. While on screen we barely see him exchange a glance with Harrigan, behind that mask lies a legendary figure, a warrior with a lethal record that places him among the most feared Yautja of all time. Guardian was once the personal bodyguard of none other than Greyback, the elder of the Lost Tribe. He wasn't a traditional hunter, but a soldier trained to protect the leader at any cost. His skills went far beyond tracking and hunting. He was an expert in heavy weaponry, explosives, and advanced artillery. Within his clan, he was known as the Big Gun, because when everything went wrong, he was the one sent in to clean up the mess, a role somewhat reminiscent of Wolf. But that role, though crucial, ultimately became the catalyst for his transformation. Frustrated by being forbidden from pursuing primary targets due to the collateral destruction caused by his methods, Guardian left the Lost Tribe and became a solo hunter. That's where he truly stood out. He embarked on extreme xenomorph hunts, seeking the most dangerous prey in the universe, including alien queens. He succeeded without backup, without a hunter network, and with no supervision. Just him, his weapons, and the horrors that lurked within the deadliest hives the Yautja had ever encountered. Unlike Wolf, whose mission on Earth was one of containment and destruction, Guardian hunted for actual trophies. His goal wasn't to erase evidence. It was to conquer the impossible hunt. His methods, though brutal, were governed by the Yautja code. Guardian never lost sight of honor. He eliminated worthy prey, respected fair duels when necessary, and if he had to blow up an entire structure to catch his target, he did it. But always made sure to preserve what mattered most: the skull. Why is he number 2 on this list? Because he represents the perfect balance between raw power and precision, between military technique and Yautja hunting philosophy. He was chosen by Greyback as his personal bodyguard, a position only given to the most trusted and capable of the group, and later earned the rank of elite on his own, proving that his brutality could be channeled into honorable and effective hunting. He is also one of the very few Yautja known to have hunted alien queens solo and lived to tell the tale. His trophy room likely includes multiple queen skulls, alpha creatures, and beasts we may never see due to the lack of visual material. His mask, actually a discarded design from the first Predator film, has become a symbol of respect and danger among collectors and fans. And among the Yautja, his name is synonymous with one thing. If Guardian shows up, it's because no one else could get the job done. Guardian is the hunter you send in when everything else has failed. And if he's on the battlefield, you can be certain nothing will remain, except a perfectly clean trophy to hang on his wall. Before we reveal the most lethal predator of all time, it's worth pausing for a moment to recognize those hunters, who, while they didn't make it into the top 7, still deserve to be mentioned. Starting with the jungle hunter, the iconic predator from the original 1987 film. He was the first to prove that humans could be worthy prey. He eliminated Dutch's elite team in the Central American jungle with precision, using camouflage, traps, and incredible hunting skill. However, despite his lethality, he didn't achieve the accomplishments or rank that others on this list did. He was a great warrior, but not the best. The city hunter who terrorized Los Angeles in 1997 also earns a mention here. He killed several members of the LAPD and cartel operatives with ease. However, his style was chaotic, impulsive, and reckless. His own clan was even on the verge of stepping in to stop him. A powerful hunter, yes, but a careless one. The feral predator from Prey impressed many with his more primitive and distinct approach. He didn't rely much on advanced technology and still managed to hunt bears, wolves, humans, and face off against Naru. However, he was likely unblooded or newly ascended, and he died during his first human hunt. He had potential, but lacked experience. The crucified predator, seen in the movie Predators, came from the same lineage as the jungle hunter, and was clearly a seasoned warrior. He fought with honor and endured torture at the hands of the Super Predator clan. But in the decisive moment, he lost in direct combat against Berserker. It's clear he was strong, but no major feats are attributed to him. The Bad Blood Predator from the Dark Horse comics is another notable figure. He betrayed the Yautja Code, killed many of his own kind, and was hunted as an outlaw. Dangerous, yes, but his lack of honor stripped him of any recognition, and he never earned an official rank. In the end, he was hunted like prey. And finally, there's the predator known as Lost, the AI hunter. His story is more concept than reality. A Yautja who abandoned biological hunts to focus on eliminating artificial entities. Intriguing, but his elite status was never confirmed, and there are no documented accomplishments to support his reputation. All of them deserve to be remembered, but none were able to surpass the titans who truly made it to the top. And now, it's time to meet the number 1. For those who haven't figured it out yet, the number 1 predator on this list is none other than Greyback, also known as the Elder, leader of the Lost Tribe. This Yautja doesn't just sit at the highest point in his clan's hierarchy. He is, without exaggeration, the embodiment of respect, wisdom, and hunting supremacy in predator society. Greyback doesn't need an entire movie or a long list of on-screen kills to prove who he is. His brief appearance at the end of Predator 2 is enough to establish him as a figure of absolute authority. When Mike Harrigan defeats the city hunter in a fair duel, it's Greyback who emerges aboard the mothership, surrounded by elite warriors like Guardian and Warrior. And instead of seeking revenge or attacking, he offers Harrigan a historic relic, an 18th century flintlock pistol. A gesture which, in Yautja culture, is not just a sign of respect, it's reverence. But that pistol is no ordinary weapon. According to expanded lore, Greyback had already been on Earth as early as 1718, where he fought alongside pirate captain Raphael Adelini during a mutiny. After the battle, Adelini gave him the pistol, and Greyback returned the honor by burying him with his own Yautja sword. Since then, he's returned to our planet multiple times, possibly overseeing major hunts such as the one led by the feral predator during the events of the movie Prey and the 1997 Los Angeles hunt. So what does it take to become an elder of a Yautja clan, you ask? Great question. It's not a symbolic title. It's only granted to those who have survived countless hunts, faced and defeated the most lethal prey imaginable, and led entire generations of warriors to glory. Greyback is likely one of the few Yautja to have hunted xenomorph queens, exceptional humans, and creatures we may never even know existed. His trophies aren't shown, but all you need to see is who he commands. Guardian, Warrior, Stalker, Boar, all elite rank predators. If he leads them, it's because he has surpassed them all. His ancestral sword appears in predator hunting grounds as the weapon of the elders, and his figure is recreated across games, comics, and novels like Predator Incursion, where he is even identified by name as Yautja. In every medium where he appears, Greyback is treated with a level of reverence reserved only for the best of the best. He is number one on this list because there is no other Yautja with his status or legacy. Because he leads the most dangerous and experienced hunters, because he has survived for centuries on the battlefield, and because when he shows up, it's not to fight, it's to judge. And if Greyback gives you a trophy, it's because he has recognized you as worthy. And in the world of the predators, that is the highest honor you can receive. And so we close this journey through the deadliest Yautja in the entire franchise. From disgraced warriors who rose again through blood and fire, to ancient leaders whose mere presence demands absolute respect. Each one with their own style, their own code, their own weapons, but all united by the same instinct, to hunt. Some hunted for redemption, others for glory, and some because they were simply the best of it. New predators may continue to appear in the future with more advanced technology, more complex armor, or more aggressive tactics. But a true hunter is not measured by their tools, but by their skill, their trophies, and their honor. At least that's how the Yautja see it. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and activate the notification bell to stay up to date with my upcoming videos. See you in the next one. Hey, don't go just yet. If you enjoyed my video, I'd love to recommend another one for you to watch.